Howdy folks, welcome to Bullish on Farming. Today's January 13th and the cows are just chilling in the woods. Those of you who've seen the previous videos, we have our winter field that we've been keeping the cattle on. We actually just have a steer calf out there, just working on some of the bales. This is a field that we graze when the snow is melted away, and we bale graze when conditions aren't favorable for grazing. Either way, we're putting the manure back into the soil and keeping the cows' hooves on soil, which is important to us. So not many of the videos do I get to show the cows in the bush section, which is where they seek refuge for windbreak and shelter. And today's been quite windy. It's calmed down a bit now by the time I'm making this video, and I'm sure it'll pick back up. But this is why the cows would be in here. You know, when you have crazy winds, they instinctually react to their environment, and if you give them the choice to seek windbreak, they will take it, especially if those winds are dropping your temperature via wind chill. And this is why for us, when we're talking about keeping our animals on the land as many months out of the year as possible, something like this is crucial. Now, I have run cows through the wintertime in the region that we're in without a dense bush section like this. And we were running, 200 head. So that's a bit different because the cows can mob together and essentially create a windbreak with the group. But even then, I would say a bush section is favorable because it's winter's housing. And the animals will naturally go into the bush when blizzard-like conditions come out. Now, they will use the bales, like we have them out there, as a windbreak as well. They just have to bed down beside them, and it does create a windbreak. And if you have plenty of bales, that can suffice. But again, optimal conditions would be to provide your animals with the natural housing that a ecosystem that reflects nature's image would have. And of course, forests play their role, and the cows are showing it right now. It's obviously much more than just housing for cattle, but since we're talking about cows, that's simply what we're going to be discussing. So, when you have your winter conditions, it helps keep things fresh. So I've shared the fact that we do have other bush sections which have yet to be revealed, way past the bales. As we move the electric wire to fresher sections, which will probably happen when we get mild spouts to reveal more stockpile to graze, that will be revealed. But this is a pretty sizable bush just for this group. 24 head mix of mature mums and calves from this past spring. It's sizable enough. And by sizable, I mean it's more than enough space for these animals to occupy for the portion that they'll choose to house in it, because obviously these animals poop a lot. And if you got a teeny tiny bush, I know some of you are laughing out there about that one. But if you got a teeny tiny bush, it can get rank quick simply due to the fact that the animals will be soiling it quite quickly. But when you're in wintertime, things freeze over. Bacteria isn't as much of an issue. And, that steer calf's coming back to join the group. And so, it keeps the manure hard. It's only once you get a thaw that all of the smells and bacteria come to life. And, you're going to want to give that bush section a break if it's gotten littered pretty hard by the animals. But this being a sizable bush section, we don't have to worry about it. And it's quite dense. So, the windbreak, look how picturesque that is. The windbreak is great in here. I'm standing. I could hold a candle, I'm sure, and it wouldn't go out. And so the cows are just chilling. Lazy day, snow day, whatever you want to call it. And it feels good because, you know, sometimes you'll talk to people and they'll start to question what you're doing when you're keeping your animals outside. And although it's kind of pretty basic to know that the animals evolved outside, you know, that doesn't just mean that you just put them outside. The setting that they're in has to reflect the design nature has for those animals. And so, you know, if these animals were just migrating and moving around, they would have access to forest, they would have access to pasture, they would be among the elements in the snow, but they could seek housing via the bush if they needed to. And so we're trying to cover all those bases. You know, we have a natural pond water source in this particular section too, which again just reflects the natural setting for these animals and setting them up for success. So, you know, the alternative to this is a barn. But, you know, in many videos I have talked about where we are right now is nature's barn. And that's certainly what it feels like. And nature has the elements for a reason. We don't want to hide from the elements. We just want to give the animals the opportunity to live among the elements with as much of a symmetrical reflection to their natural foraging lifestyle as possible. And that includes all months out of the year, not just when humans think it's cold. So yeah, as you can see, the cows, they're not too keen on moving right now. And it's not even too cold. I think it's probably -8 out here. But you can see that they're chewing cud. They've ate a good portion today, I'm sure. You got a cow that's just gone to go feed. And you know, they'll usually move together. Looks like they're taking shifts. But yeah, you look at the rumens on these animals, they're nice and full, which means that they got a rumen full of hay. And you know, once they get hungry, no hesitations, they'll go out there, I'm sure. So yeah, this is a nice, cute video of the cows that we don't usually like to see because they usually like to show how hardy they are being out there eating the bales or grazing. But we won't go too long on this one, I suppose. I'd like to say thanks for stopping by and God bless you all. We'll see you on the next one.